Hello, this is Drink the Music.
A podcast where each week we listen to an album, make a cocktail, and have a chat about it.
Thanks for joining us. Now let's drink the music. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
It is.
Everywhere you go, take a look at the 5 and 10.
Technically, Michaela, it has been beginning to look a lot like Christmas. I don't know, since August when stores started putting out their Christmas stuff. They'd get a little bit of Halloween stuff and a lot of Christmas stuff, and now it's just a lot more Christmas stuff. But hello, welcome to our Trim the Tree special on Drink the Music. I'm Brian here, as always, with Michaela. And Michaela, this time of year, right? We just celebrated Thanksgiving yesterday here in the United States, at least, right? Everyone gets together, cooks a turkey, which is kind of overrated. I'm all about the sides myself, sides, cocktails. That's good. That's good for me. But the day after Thanksgiving is pretty monumental for a lot of us. I think yourself included. And when we were talking about what we wanted to do this week to celebrate, what we said is, you do Thanksgiving, but the real magic happens the next day. You get up early and go shopping. Well, you don't have to do that anymore. You can do it online. But what you do is a lot of us put up our Christmas tree.
A lot of people do. Yeah. So I think there's like 2 or 3 camps of folks that celebrate Christmas in when they set up their Christmas stuff. A lot of people do it the weekend after Thanksgiving in America, which makes sense. Some people do it like December, like the first weekend in December. Some people do it right
December
before
24th.
Thanksgiving. Some people do it Christmas Eve. There's a lot of different camps. I grew up always doing it around the time of Thanksgiving because we're home. It's always a long weekend for us in America. So and that can be a really tough call, right? You got to get the tree out. I don't know if you have a fake one or a real one. We always have a fake one because we didn't have a lot of money growing up. So we weren't wasting it on a real tree. No way. So we got to get the tree out from the attic or the basement or wherever the hell it was. And then we would, have to decorate, and we'd have to cover everything with snow and red bows. And it takes a lot. So usually that long weekend is when my family would reserve the time to go ahead and do it.
That's right, absolutely, and kind of that day, at least in my mind, it's when it makes it okay. Now there are places of business that will push the boundaries, but really, Christmas and holiday music is really only okay with me following that meal on Thanksgiving. You get the
Right.
Macy's
Okay.
Thanksgiving Day parade. Santa Claus is there, right? He's just like, all right, just remember after you eat, then it's my time now, right? So that's the
Right.
time, and that's what we do, right? We get the stuff put together. We get all the stuff down out of the attic, and we start decorating and trimming the tree, or just hanging out with family. But it's finally time to have a drink and listen to some of these Christmas tunes and holiday tunes that you only listen to for this 1 month of the year. But before we do that, Michaela, we need to get a cocktail going. And it's another special weekend for you and I, because every year about this time, right around the week of Thanksgiving, we make our annual aged eggnog, which we actually did in an episode way back. It was our very first episode, episode 1, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. We mixed up this eggnog. But, episode 1, we weren't quite as good at this as we are now. Debatable,
I
I guess.
mean,
I don't know if we're any good
no,
at it now
you,
either, but
you were always amazing at this, Ryan. Let's be
mm,
clear. It was
well,
me that's
well,
that's
well.
had to 300 episodes of a quick study.
I mean, I don't know about that, but I do know that I have always been good at making eggnog. So let's do this, Michaela. This is going to be pretty simple, kind of, if you have all these ingredients, if you've done it before. If not, follow along and go to the website, drinkthemovies.com, go into our archives. It's the very first episode, and I'll have it up again for this episode too, probably. But what you're going to do is you're going to take 12 eggs, and you're going to go ahead and separate the yolks from that. You just need the yolks. So put your 12 egg yolks into a bowl and add 1 pound of sugar to that. And you're going to take hopefully a hand mixer or a stand mixer, or if not, get your whisk out. Hopefully you've been hitting the gym, and you're going to whisk that for a long time. It's going to get like a pale yellow color. They call it like a ribbon stage, because when you take your mixer, your beater out, it's like the egg and sugar kind of like falls off like a big ribbon kind of thing. And that means you're done. So you're gonna beat the heck out of that for a long time till it turns pale yellow. Then you're good to go. Add the rest of your stuff in. So to that mixture, you're going to add 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, and then a pint of half and half, a pint of whole milk, and a pint of heavy cream. And then your booze, Michaela. 1 cup of Jamaican rum, 1 cup of cognac, and 1 cup of bourbon. Put in just a pinch or so of kosher salt, and you're going to just stir that up until it all incorporates. It's going to, kind of get those eggs and sugar, liquefied into that stuff, and then put it into some mason jars and let it sit until a cold night in December. Crack one open, grate on some nutmeg. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry
Charlie
Christmas,
Brown.
indeed. There you go. Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown. This is the best. We've done this every year, right? So we did this, gosh, maybe 4 years ago. It was before Drink the Movies, before Drink the Music, all of that. You made some, and you were like, "Hey, this is really good. We should do this together."
And what did you tell
And
me? It's kind of like what you told me about Taylor Swift, Michaela. You said, I don't like eggnog.
I did. I did say that. I did, because I didn't think that I did. In my defense, the eggnog that I had growing up was the eggnog you get from the store that you put, like, I don't know, Captain Morgan in. Okay. That's what I had. And I was like, this tastes gross, especially as a kid when you can't have the rum. It's just this weird egg milkshake thing. Yeah. Like, no.
Sounds pretty good. So.
Yeah. No, not great. Not great. So we had this, and I was like, ooh. So when Brian first made this, people of all listeners, I was like, I don't know. I took one sip, and I was like, and it was just as he made it. Like, it was very fresh. And I said, oh, this is pretty good. And he looked at me and he was like, just wait. And so, like, a month later, we open up one of those bad boy mason jars, and I got to tell you, it's good that this thing makes, like, I don't know how many mason jars it makes. It makes a lot. You only need a little bit. Pour it over some ice, because it is real strong, and it's like it evens out over the course of over the course of it being aged. It's so good. It is now a Christmas family tradition. Brian and me always get together. We make it, and then we split it. We share it over Christmas. I still have some from last Christmas because I save it because I just love it so much. It's my favorite. Please try this because it is freaking awesome. I'm just saying.
That's right. Yeah, you can drink it straight away. It is going to be pretty booze forward. There's 3 cups of booze in this thing, right? So it's going to be
Please don't drink
boozy,
and drive. Don't do that.
Straight up. Don't drink. Be safe if you're drinking out there. But you can drink it straight away. It's going to be a little, like I said, a little boozy there, but it definitely mellows out over the next couple of weeks, which is why we like to make it around Thanksgiving or the week before Thanksgiving. So that way, by Christmas, it's really kind of come in and it's full blown in its glory. But Michaela, what I want to do this year, because we've made this one before in the past. What we're going to do this year, though, is I'm going to challenge us to add some additions to a couple of these mason jars. So I'm thinking of some extracts, maybe in the realm of like a chocolate extract or a peppermint extract, something like that. And I think we can jazz these up a little bit more. We'll have to do that and check back in with everyone. What do you think about that? What do you think about jazzing these up a little bit?
I love it.
I want some regular ones. Just a couple.
Yeah.
Just a couple.
Maybe, do we need to do a double batch just to make sure? Do we have plenty?
I don't know. 12 dozen eggs, please. We're making eggnog for sure. But yeah, I think that would be fun to mix it up a little bit. Yeah, a little chocolate maybe in one, or some white chocolate, or I don't know, something. I think that would be that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. So now that we have this made, Michaela, we've got the eggnog made. I think it's time to go ahead and get our playlist together, because it is time. This tree is not going to trim itself for sure. So let's get these playlist songs going. We've got 5 each. If you listen to our Halloween one, it's going to be kind of the same thing. And then we've got some feedback from our patrons as well for a couple of bonus features, and maybe a couple of honorable mentions from us as well. Things that didn't make the list, but things that we definitely listen to every year. So let's do this, Michaela. Let's take a quick break. We will whip up that eggnog, and then we'll be right back to chat about this week's playlist.
Level up your listening with Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra earbuds and headphones, with immersive sound and world-class noise cancellation for a not-so-silent night. Visit Bose.com/Spotify to shop sound that's more than a present.
All right, Michaela, it is time to dust off the boxes, to set up the tree, and get the merry ringing in for sure. Now, if you're listening to this playlist, this is our second time doing a playlist, and we're going to try our darndest to get a Spotify playlist of these songs put together. So go to your Spotify, search for that if you want, or I'll put a link to it in the description if we're able to figure that out. So you'll be able to listen to your own Drink the Music playlist while you're trimming your own tree. And you can probably add songs to that playlist if you want. And we'll see what we come up with. It'll be a fun experiment for all of our listeners out there. But Michaela, you're a Christmas angel at heart. Why don't you get us started with track number 1 on the playlist?
Track number 1. All right. So, growing up, listened to a lot of classic Christmas from the 50s, 60s, 70s. And as we all know, Bing Crosby is kind of the king of like the quintessential old fashioned Christmas. So I was going to pick something that everybody knows, like White Christmas or I'll Be Home for Christmas or any of the things that he's done. There's like 37 Christmas albums that he's done. Christmas in Killarney, by the way, it's one of my favorites. If you go to Killarney, which is in Ireland, they have no idea what you're talking about. That song does not exist in Ireland. They think it's really funny. I send it to all my Irish friends at Christmas time because they're like, this is really interesting because they've never heard of it. But what I wanted to do was do something that was a little old, little modern. And if you can YouTube this and you get the full effect of it, but there is a skit that was done a long time ago now between Bing Crosby and the amazing David Bowie, where they meet at a mutual friend's house and they don't really know who each other are, or at least they pretend that they don't know who each other are. And they kind of talk about music. And they talk a little bit about Christmas time and how they love kids and, what they kind of connect on this parenting level. And then they go into this rendition of Drummer Boy, Little Drummer Boy. And it is amazing. So the first one that I have is Drummer Boy by Bing Crosby and David Bowie.
Yeah, it's actually a mashup of Drummer Boy and Peace on Earth that they're singing, and and it is from a skit, and I do imagine that they both walk into a room and David Bowie's like, "Oh, hey, that's Bing Crosby," and Bing Crosby is like, "I don't know who that is." So that's how I imagine that went down. So Drummer Boy, Peace on Earth, Bing Crosby and David Bowie. On one hand, Michaela, I really don't like the song Little Drummer Boy, but on the other hand, it's David Bowie. So I think I'm in the right here, though, because in fact, when they went in to record this, David Bowie agrees with me. The musical producers intended it to be a straight duet of Little Drummer Boy. And Mr. Bowie says, quote unquote, "I hate this song. Is there something else I could sing?" So that's how he ended up singing the Peace on Earth portion of the song there instead of Little Drummer Boy. So this was recorded in 1977. You did say this is a modern song. That makes it 46 years old, Michaela. So not all that modern, to be honest.
No,
and this was going into the Christmas special for Bing Crosby's Merry Old Christmas. And this was one of the last things that Bing Crosby would record. They recorded it in September, and then Bing Crosby passed away in October. So this was one of the last things that they did together. And on a side note, Michaela, it's a neat duet for sure. But on a side note, I used to work at a computer store, and we would test the computers we were building, the CD-ROM drive, with a Bing Crosby Christmas CD. So there you go.
There you go. No, what I meant, because I know this is old, but Bing Crosby and David Bowie, they talk a little bit about their musical interests. And David Bowie asked Bing, "Hey, what do you think of the modern stuff?" Because at this point, Bing Crosby is older. And his stuff is 30 years old at that point. And he's like, "Oh, I think it's just marvelous. I think all the modern stuff is marvelous." And you don't know if he's actually, this, I mean, again, it's David Bowie. So it's very modern. In 1977, he was, doing Starman and crazy stuff, right? It was just, so that's where that came from. That's why I think that it was both modern and classic. Now it's just both. It's just completely classic, but I digress. Your turn, Brian. You pick a classic.
It is my turn. And a little peek behind the curtain. I have all of my Christmas stuff up in the attic, so it's important to start my playlist off here with an instrumental piece. I don't want to be in and out of lyrics. I just want something in the background that's going to be perfect. So I am picking "O Tannenbaum" by the Vince Guaraldi Trio. So this Vince Guaraldi was originally tapped to create a soundtrack for a new Peanuts documentary, which was going to be titled "Jazz Impressions of a Boy Named Charlie Brown," which sounds awesome. It's going to be in 1964. And Guaraldi was so impressive in doing that that he was retained to do the music for the upcoming Charlie Brown Christmas special. That documentary, however, which although sounds awesome, didn't get any sponsorships, and it was scrapped. So that's sad. Vince Guaraldi was joined by bassist Fred Marshall and drummer Jerry Granelli to record the soundtrack in 1965. And part of the soundtrack was recorded with the St. Paul's Episcopal Church Children's Choir. The same kids that would sing a couple of these songs are also the ones that shout "Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown" at the end. I guess all the kids were paid like $5, I think, to record that stuff, but that's pretty good for a kid in 1965, I guess. The whole Charlie Brown Christmas special, well, the special is amazing. The whole soundtrack is amazing. It's a great like Christmas accomplishment, I think, in terms of what you think of on Christmas music. But "O Tannenbaum," it really gets me in the mood, Michaela, to lug the 30 or so boxes down out of the attic and get to trimming the tree.
Yeah. No, definitely. I was so glad when I saw that this was what you picked. I listened to it and I immediately was like, I need some eggnog. I don't have garland in my hand. What is wrong with me? Because it is so beautiful. The trio itself is just absolutely stunning. The arrangement is great. I love it so much. And it definitely is something, there's a lot of instrumental Christmas music out there. I think this is great because it's just jazzy enough, but it's uplifting as well. It's not like muzak, like elevator muzak that you would hear that do this very, very poorly. This is a classic for sure. Love it so much.
Definitely. So that is my first entry. Michaela, what do you got next?
All right. So nothing like a classic Christmas song that started in a Target, right? No,
that's where a lot of people find themselves at Christmas time, I guess.
They do.
That makes sense.
They do. So this next song was originally performed for a Target store branded Christmas album. Okay. The song, which has a rare occurrence, it's a rare occurrence of a general pop song, makes several references to Christmas. But it wasn't thought of as a Christmas song until 2020 when it came out on the album It's Christmas All Over. What am I talking about? I'm talking about one of my favorite bands of all time, the Goo Goo Dolls, singing Better Days. It came out in 2005, but 2006 was when it was performed the first time, September 25th, to be precise. And it really kind of brought in the Superdome in Katrina. It was kind of a reopening of that after the Katrina hurricane that devastated New Orleans. And so this song really heralds to me. I was in college. I was just out of school when this song came out. And I really love it because it's very unclassic. It's very rocky. It definitely has some Christmas connotations to it, but it's also just an overall like feel good. Like if you could make the world a better place, if you were feeling downtrodden and you needed to be filled with hope, the Goo Dolls are and John Resnick, they're gonna come save you with this song for sure. And it's a belter. It builds. It's got a beautiful kind of bridge. I wish everyone was loved tonight and somehow stop this endless fight. Maybe in time there will be better days. You can't ask for more than that when you think about Christmas and all of the things that happened around this time. Whether you believe in Christmas or not, it's all about goodwill toward men, and that's why I picked this song.
Yeah, for sure. This song, is kind of always intended to be kind of a Christmas song, even though it was, kind of the first single from that album, Let Love In, as part of that Target holiday compilation, and then going on to be on that more current Christmas compilation from 2020. It sounds more or less like a Goo Goo Dolls song, if you're familiar with the Goo Goo Dolls as a band, as their music. And there's kind of this really neat kind of cello piece that's backing through the track. The song itself would reach number 36 on the US Billboard charts. I don't know. I'd heard the song a couple of times, right? Because it was a fairly popular song when it came out. I don't know that I would say that this is like a Christmas classic or a Christmas standard, right? If you just look up any sort of Christmas playlist, but I think if you are into the kind of this rock and roll styling of the Goo Goo Dolls, this would be a really good inclusion on your list because it sounds very different. It sounds a lot like the Goo Goo Dolls. Kind of at this point in 2005, we're starting to transition into like more like adult contemporary rock. So this kind of sounds like a bridge between like like Dizzy Up the Girl, and then kind of what they would do kind of going forward. This was kind of like the bridge of their sound,
For
getting
sure.
a little bit more mellow. But this one's definitely rocking. So if you're looking for something that has a little bit of a unique flair, that doesn't tie into those more Christmas standards, so to speak, this is a good one, I think. All right, so we've got next up on my list. This one is going to be a newer Christmas song. This one is a Willie Nice Christmas coming from Casey Musgraves. Love it, Michaela, and we'll stay higher than the angel on the top of the tree. What else are you going to do if you're hanging out with Casey Musgraves and Willie Nelson, right? Something lighthearted here from me, from the Princess of Country, Casey Musgraves, and Shotgun Willie Nelson himself. I hope you have a really nice Christmas, a Willie Nice Christmas indeed. Coming from Casey Musgraves' first Christmas album, A Very Casey Christmas, which was released in 2016. Casey Musgraves had basically taken the world over by storm, especially, in the country music circles, popular music, with the first two albums. So a Christmas classics and riffs were going to be kind of next up on the menu for her. The record itself is pretty whimsical country, but there's some Hawaiian pop grooves in here, plus a lot of nostalgia-driven things, right? Like that Hippopotamus for Christmas, which came back out of nowhere. I'd never heard until like all of a sudden. It's like, oh yeah, this song. So that's going to make up the album there. This one peaked the album peaked at number 21 on the US Billboard charts. And to that I say happy holidays from Willie and me. Thanks, Casey Musgraves. This is a fun one, and it's perfect at the beginning of your tree trimming because you're not quite real agitated that you're still decorating yet.
Right. Oh yeah, no, because you definitely need to be higher than the star of the top of the tree by the end. I feel like it depends on how long your tree trimming experience is. I have a 12-foot Christmas tree, and every year I'm told that I am nuts for having this, and I am told that it's the bane of my husband's existence. So it's not going to stop me. We're going 15 feet maybe next time. I don't know, but yeah, by the end of it,
every complaint.
There you go. I'll show you. Do it myself. I really love this. I even wrote this down. I said, it's a Willie Nice song. Island country. Is this even a thing? Question mark. Apparently it is. Because it does definitely have this islandy kind of country. And I'd never heard this song before. I don't know why. I'd never heard it before because it did really well. I mean, it's a nice song, but I almost laughed out loud when I heard Willie Nelson actually sing it along with her in the track itself. I was like, this is awesome, because once again, Willie Nelson, he's like an American treasure, right? He's certainly a Texas treasure. I love that they do a shout out to Lukenbach. If you don't know where that is, it's one of these tiny little towns in Texas that's pretty cool. If you ever go, have a beer when you're there. But it pokes fun at itself. It's really cute. And there's enough weed to go around, which if you're going to have like family, especially maybe the last, I don't know, 8 years, you're going to have these family gatherings where you're all going to be, it's kind of awkward talking about things you shouldn't be talking about in mixed company. Maybe having a little weed couldn't hurt. Certainly having the eggnog couldn't hurt, but I don't know.
That's right. On a side note, Michaela, you should definitely listen to this Christmas album. I'll go ahead and throw it out as an honorable mention here for two reasons. A, the cover of the album is pink, your favorite color, and she also has a duet with Leon Bridges on there, and Leon Bridges is the bee's knees. So check that one out. Willie Nice Christmas by Casey Musgraves.
What is also a really nice album with a really fun cover is the Once Upon a Christmas album from Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. It's one of the best duets of all time. And there's a really fun Christmas song that Dolly Parton does. It is a kind of a medley between Sleigh Ride, Winter Wonderland, Jingle Bells. It's all the things, and it's amazing. I love this song. It is so nostalgic for me. Avon, I don't know if you remember the multi-level marketing company called Avon. I think it still exists. If you're an Avon lady out there, shout out to me. Let me know what I should buy this year. But my mom sold Avon as a kid. When we were young, we didn't have a lot of money.
Did you get the pink Cadillac? Isn't that an Avon thing?
No, that's a Mary Kay thing.
Oh.
No. But what she did do, no, that's okay. She did win an award that I actually have. It's a Susan B. Anthony kind of thing. And it was one of the last things she gave me before she passed. So that was really cool. But She would sell, I don't know how many shampoo bottles she needed to sell, but one of the things that she bought was this Christmas compilation cassette tape. And it was like Christmas at Home or the Avon Christmas album or something like that. And the first song on that track of the cassette was this Winter Wonderland Sleigh Ride. It is doesn't even sound like a country album. It's got a lot of like pingy, poppy kind of sounds to it. Dolly Parton is amazing. Her voice is shimmering and light and not twangy at all. So if you're thinking Dolly's not your thing, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, listen to this anyway. You're going to love it. It's wonderful. It's my favorite version of the Winter Wonderland song of all time. And that's really pretty much all I have to say about it. I definitely want this song when it starts to snow outside. I definitely want a sleigh of my own. Those sound like they're really expensive now. We probably can't find one in time for Christmas, but that's what I want for Dolly every time I hear this song from Dolly Parton.
Sleigh, yeah, we'll get a drink the music sleigh of a hot chocolate dispenser on the back. That sounds pretty good. So let's see, 1984, the only thing bigger in the whole world than Santa Claus was Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. And yeah, it's coming off that Once Upon a Christmas special. So we got the album here that went double platinum, and it was a TV special, right? So a lot of these songs and a lot of, I want to say modern songs, this is in the 80s, so it was like 30-40 years ago at this point, but a lot of these more modern songs are coming off of these TV specials in the 70s, 80s, 90s, even through, I think even the Casey Musgraves, I think, was a TV special as well that she did. Double platinum there. The TV special by Kenny and Dolly was viewed by roughly 30 million people, so a lot of people were real into this. Dolly in the show, she's playing Mrs. Claus. I can't imagine a better Mrs. Claus than Dolly Parton for sure, and she's the perfect one to be singing the song. There's so most of the album is duets, and there's a couple of songs that they sing by themselves. This is one for Dolly Parton here, singing Winter Wonderland and Sleigh Ride. And I really love because it makes like this transition from Winter Wonderland into Sleigh Ride, but then it transitions back. Normally you have one and it kind of ends and goes into the next, and that's kind of where it ends. But this one actually jumps back to Winter Wonderland, which is really neat. And Dolly Parton's great. Go listen to our volume about Jolene by Dolly Parton if you want to get more Dolly Parton goodness in your hearts, but definitely have Dolly Parton helping you when you're trimming the tree for sure, because she's amazing.
You know what's even more amazing is Whamageddon. Have you heard of Whamageddon?
Whamageddon. I have
Do you
not
know what
heard,
that is?
I know, I don't.
Okay, so this
Whamageddon.
So this is your song, so I should let you start, but I do want to interject, and I'm sorry. Whamageddon is how long you can go in the month of December before you hear this song that you're going to talk about, which is none other than Last Christmas, sung by Wham.
Oh, well, my Whamageddon would be like 1 minute, because I'm going to listen to Wham every second of the day for the next month for sure. So Last Christmas by Wham, exclamation point. This song has been covered by like every A-list group of bands and musicians of all time. Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, Jimmy Eat World, Backstreet Boys all have like credited versions of it, but everyone sang it basically. But Last Christmas is a Wham song through and through. This was released on December 3rd in 1984, and it was written and produced by one half of Wham, George Michael. The song was popular, number 2 on the UK charts for 5 consecutive weeks, meaning that, this song released on December 3rd, 5 weeks. That means that this is still the number 2 song, even after Christmas and Boxing Day, for that matter, in the UK. And a lot, like other Wham songs, there's kind of a perceived joy in the way the song sounds. The song sounds really joyous, but, there's also some sadness underlying here in George Michael. And if you go watch the documentary about Wham, I think it's on Netflix, it's amazing. But there is some darkness there for sure, and demons that were being battled here for Wham and George Michael in particular. Last Christmas, Michaela, I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. So hopefully this year you're trimming the tree with someone special.
Yeah, I mean, nothing like a broken heart at Christmas. Christmas is a tough time for some people, right? We're going to talk more about some of those songs that address that, but I feel like this is a love-hate relationship that you're going to have with this song, because it is one of those songs that has a tendency to be, dare I say, overplayed. One of my oldest friends,
How
Will
dare
be.
You? How dare you?
I know. I'm sorry. One of my oldest friends, Wilby, absolutely hates this song. We have our own version of Whamageddon. The first time I hear it in the season, I always send him a video and a text saying it started, the season has begun, and he's like, "Oh, please, sweet Jesus, let it be over soon," because he absolutely hates the song, not because it's a bad song, but because it's just been played a lot. I think over the course of the last, I don't know, 20 years, we've had a lot more music come out, so it's probably lessened itself, but I do remember like in the early 2000s, I feel like it was just, that was the only Christmas song that was heard. It was like Bing Crosby's White Christmas and Wham. And that can have a devastating effect on the ears perhaps. I
Mariah
love
Carey
this song.
came to rescue us from Wham
that's
being
right.
overplayed.
Now it's Mariah Carey that we all feel this way about. Okay. No, Last Christmas, Wham, super good. I think I have not heard a cover of this that I have enjoyed as much as the original. And I feel like that's a big, bold statement since it's been covered a lot. But I feel like that's the case. I don't know. I think the best form of flattery is to copy someone. And I get that. But I also feel like maybe we should learn and maybe leave it alone because it's pretty perfect the way it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It's really great. And yeah, it just sounds, I don't know. Love Wham. It's a Wham renaissance now. It's not a Whamageddon. It's a Whamazance.
So a Wham awakening.
Yeah, a Wham awakening.
See what I did there? Oh, great. Well, I'll tell you what has kept me awake. Wondering how many lords a leaping and ladies dancing and maids milking and all of that. That's kept me up really late at night. I don't know about you. But we're getting into the next song, which is really fun, whether you're a child or just a child at heart. John Denver was instrumental in the 1979 Christmas television special starring Jim Henson's Muppets and the singer-songwriter himself. This first aired on December 5th, 1979 on ABC. It's never been released on any standard video format, which makes me really angry because I would love it. Please give it to us. We will buy it. You will make money. Somebody needs to make that happen. Now that the SAG thing is done, record producers, we can turn our
attention to the important stuff now. Get this Muppet special out there.
My God. So this special is available for viewing at the Paley Center for Media, along with other Muppet specials. So you can find it there. But I would really like to buy a steel case of this. So somebody needs to figure it out. This is amazing. It is the 12 Days of Christmas with John Denver and all of the Muppets. This was one of the songs that was on the Avon special cassette special that I had. And that's one of the things that I listened to nonstop when I was a kid. I absolutely love this version. I feel that there are a lot of other amazing versions out there that will talk like vocal ranges and that will have like a men and women's quartet singing different parts of it. And that's really beautiful. But for me, it is always going to be Miss Piggy talking about the 5 golden rings. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, absolutely. 12 Days of Christmas is the worst song of all time. And there's only one way that it could be good. And that is having the Muppets sing it, because the Muppets rule. And that's it. That's all I have to say. Yeah, that special, it came from 1979. That's pretty cool. And yeah, the album soundtrack thing, it opens with the song, which is great because, like I said, it's probably not really the worst song of all time. It's definitely not my favorite song. But it is custom made for the Muppets to do. And we love ourselves some Muppets around here. You can go back and listen to our Muppet Christmas Carol episode that we did last Christmas time, because that's one of my family's favorite Christmas movies of all time. So therefore, this is one of my favorite Christmas tunes of all time. All of these Muppet things are pretty great. Anytime you get John Denver and Kermit singing some songs, and yeah, the best part of the 12 Days of Christmas is Miss Piggy and her 5 golden rings. That is the highlight of the song, no doubt. So check out the Muppets there, and that's going to be a good kind of getting you close to the end song. That's gonna really drive home those last little bits of tinsel you're trying to get on the tree there as you're going through the 12 Days of Christmas, for sure. My next song, Michaela, it's going a little bit more rock and roll here on my side. It's "Oh Holy Night" by Weezer. Now, "Oh Holy Night" is one of my favorite Christmas standards because it's very dark sounding. more reserved sounding. You think of it more in a cathedral thing, singing it at church, like Christmas Eve. That's what you think of when you hear Oh Holy Night. But not this Weezer version. It has more of a Buddy Holly-esque kind of guitar solo and that Weezer styling, which is really, really great, I think. This comes from the Christmas with Weezer album from 2008, which was a 6-track Christmas album. It's kind of like Weezer's Blue album, except it's Christmassy. This was originally recorded, though. I'm gonna outdo you right here, Michaela. Your Goo Goo Dolls song was recorded for a Target Christmas compilation. This 6-track Christmas album was recorded for a mobile game, Michaela. It was this mobile rhythm game, kind of akin to like Rock Band or Guitar Hero, but people threw a fit. They're like, I'm not going to get that mobile game, Weezer. What are you doing? Put the songs out. So you can get it now on like your all your streaming places. And then they did eventually release a CD version of this in Japan and in like 2020, I think. But Oh Holy Night by Weezer, all 6 of these are really great kind of Weezer covers of these Christmas just standards. But I really like Oh Holy Night. So like I said, it's one of my favorite Christmas songs just in general, kind of the feeling of it. And then getting the Weezer treatment, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good. This is so I hadn't heard this in a while. So when I listened to it for the sake of the pod, I was like, man, I forgot how good Weezer is. If you've not seen them, they're amazing. They're amazing in concert. I don't know if they would ever do like a Christmas concert special, but it'd be really cool because what I have here in my notes are this is kind of it's definitely got this rock anthem theme to it. The vocals are really naked is what I say. In my notes, it's just a very kind of almost like a small feeling against kind of the big kind of electronic guitars and the angriness of some of the chords. I love the high note at the end. It's really just disarming because it's this rocky extravaganza that is happening, but at the same time, it's very sweet. It's interesting because the Old Holy Night is definitely a kind of a religious connotation to it. And so with that comes all the darkness because we talk about, the whole history of Christmas and like the coming of this person that's, going to then die and all of this. And so all of that is kind of in it. So it's a very dark yet very hopeful song. Really, really, a really cool cover. We talk a lot about covers and most of the stuff that we were talking about are covers. But a really cool cover. I mean, Weezer could not have done, and nobody could have done this the way Weezer did it. And it's really special for that reason, because it's definitely got their signature sound kind of all over it. And his voice, it just, at the very beginning, I just kind of ache because he's just so like, I don't know, like unimposing. And then at the end, when it gets like he does the high notes and it's so crisp but naked sounding. Vulnerable maybe is a better word. Really good.
Yeah, for sure. And you think a lot of bands who might have been approached and like, here's millions of dollars to make some songs for this mobile game that we're putting together would have definitely like phoned it in, cashed that check, but not here. Weezer just goes all out and they're like, we're gonna give you all the Weezer goodness on these songs. So check out Oh Holy Night by Weezer.
So Brian, as you know, the Christmas period, it can be a really wonderful time, but for a lot of people, it's not a great time. And I really thought it was important to put in a song for folks that maybe don't love this season, maybe feel really down. That we have, seasonal depression is a real thing on top of all the other stuff that could possibly make you sad, and fall into, make you feel more depressed. So I really wanted to find a song that kind of acknowledged that, but also was hopeful. And so one of the last song that I picked on my list was Where Are You Christmas, which was originally Christmas, Why Can't I Find You? And it's a song that, believe it or not, was written by Mariah Carey and James Horner and Will Jennings. And it was in the movie How the Grinch Stole Christmas that came out in 2000. It was the new remake with Jim Carrey. But it wasn't, even though Mariah Carey wrote the song, it was actually became kind of this power ballad that was brought to us by Faith Hill. And this, I might get a lot of flack because I picked kind of two iconic country artists in this But this is definitely, again, a song that doesn't feel like country. To me, it's got this really beautiful kind of piano at the beginning. The richness of Faith Hill's vocals is really soft, and but then she's got kind of these belter notes where she's able to kind of raise and be kind of loud, and kind of talk about how, my world is changing. I'm rearranging. Can Christmas kind of rearrange things too? And I think that that's really important, because there's a lot of times where we have this expectation that in quintessential Christmas American mornings, everybody gets along, everybody's happy, all is clear and bright. And that's just not the reality. And I think it's really cool to acknowledge it in a way, but that also says, that might be the case, but all is not lost. And there's still some bits of joy and hope to be found, even when you're not feeling it. And that's why I picked this song. It's a bit of a downer in some ways, but I also think that it's really hopeful.
Yeah, it is. It is very hopeful, and it's very epic sounding. So, you mentioned Mariah Carey wrote the song. She actually was going to be the one that sang it. So then she would have two giant Christmas songs, but apparently there was an ongoing lawsuit with her ex-husband. So Faith Hill was tapped to sing the song, and Faith Hill is amazing. Her voice is epic, and the song is pretty epic too. It's had over 1 million digital downloads. It's become a Christmas classic. It's 23 years old now, Michaela. That's absurd. Crazy to think about. In the movie, actually, Taylor Momsen sings it as Cindy Lou Who sings it there in the actual movie. I don't know if there's a version, but Taylor Momsen is the lead singer for a metal band called The Pretty Reckless, pretty popular metal band. I don't know if they have done a cover of that, or if Taylor's tried to wash her hands of all of that Grinch nonsense. I don't know for sure, but that'd be pretty cool. I should have looked that up. But yeah, nonetheless, this is an absolute. I was going to say, on my notes, I was getting ready to write a modern Christmas classic, but 23 years old. Now this is just a Christmas staple. Where Are You, Christmas? A beautiful, beautiful song for sure. And that leaves us with one more, Michaela, to finalize our list, my list here. I'm going really sort of, I'm taking the tempo down. I'm getting the fire lit. I am done trimming trees for sure. And I'm going to be listening to Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas by She and Him. She is Zooey Deschanel, and he is Matthew Ward, aka M Ward. They released their first album in 2008, and their first Christmas album, A Very She and Him Christmas, in 2011. So this album, it features 12 Christmas staples, and the 10th anniversary edition of the cover, or edition of the album, covers a previous entry on my list, Last Christmas. There you go. She and Him did a cover of it as well. This is a great Christmas album, just in general, if you're into kind of that indie folk sort of thing that She and Him has going on. If you want something a little bit more stripped down, think less like trumpets here, and more, just very soulful kind of acoustic guitar fingerpick stuff. If you want something like that, that's a good way to go. The song itself, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, it comes from the 1944 film Meet Me in St. Louis, sung by Judy Garland. And the She and Him version, it's a soft, subtle, dreamy version with Deschanel's alto voice reminding us the true meaning of the holidays. This song is perfect, Michaela, for sitting by the fire, having a glass of wine or eggnog, or Troegs Mad Elf, which is my personal tradition. Every year when we're trimming the tree, I have a bottle of last year's Troegs Mad Elf. It's one of my favorite beers of all time. And admiring the long day of decorating you had. You probably, had some, excitement at the beginning. You probably went through a lull, got tired. You probably had like an argument or two about things. But then at the end of the day, sip a nice glass of red wine, sit by the fire, look at the beautiful lights, and listen to Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas by She and Him.
Yeah, I can't think of a any better way to spend the end of trimming the tree than with She and Him. So I didn't know them very well until quite recently, and I love this version. I mean, I think it is beautifully stripped down. Zooey Deschanel's voice is like honey. It's so calming. It's just. It's not longing and achy. I don't know how to really describe it. It's ethereal almost. She has just got this really beautiful richness to her tone. And it's very intimately created, right? Because it's got these beautiful, this understated guitar, and it's still very delicate and, I don't know, detailed. Can something sound detailed? Like it's not, it's got a lot of picking, but it's not overly busy. I really love this version. And I even wrote here, I said, her voice is like baking cookies. It definitely feels like at the end of the day, you want to be sitting in front of a fireplace with something like a mulled wine, kind of, looking at your handiwork, contemplating all the good, exciting things yet to come in a cozy and welcoming space. And so that's definitely putting the star on the tree, as it were, of our list, because I think that when you think of Christmas, it definitely brings that to mind in a really pinnacle kind of way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's one of my favorites. The She and Him. I think there's a second Christmas album that they did as well. So those are both really good ones. Like I said, if you like kind of that indie folk, indie, not rock, but kind of thing there. It's really really great. And Zoe Deschanel's voice is very lovely, and it's a perfect kind of capstone, I think, to the day. But we're not done there, Michaela. We did have a couple of honorable mentions. I think one from you, and then we've got some feedback from our patrons here in terms of some holiday tunes that they might like to hear this time of year.
Yes, Josh Groban is basically an angel on earth who sings like, I don't know, his voice. What did the guy from Glee say? He's like, we all want to sing like him. We all want to be him. We love him. He does this amazing song called Believe that came out from the Polar Express, which we have covered. I think that was maybe the second movie we ever covered. With our
early one. It was an early one for sure.
With our spiked hot chocolate. The hot chocolate was good. I don't know if that episode was any good or not, because it was real early on. But the song Believe by Josh Groban is really good, and I recommend everybody listen to it. It's it's very Christmassy, but not making references to Christmas. So it's just good for this time of year, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. Josh Groban is this crooner for sure. Has, I don't know, like a 1,000 Christmas tunes, and they're going to find their way into basically any playlist of Christmas songs, whether it be a new song or a cover of a classic song. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a whole album in here, and this might not be something that many people are familiar with. It's kind of interesting and odd, but Seth MacFarlane, if you know who Seth MacFarlane is, he is the writer and creator of like Family Guy, has done a bunch of TV stuff, but he also has a really amazing voice. He has an album, it's called Holiday for Swing, that he is on. There's a song with like Norah Jones that he does on there, and Sarah Bareilles, and it is a really great and fantastic album. There's some moments of it that's fun, but there's a lot of Christmas staples in there, and I think that his voice is really really good. That's one that we listen to around the house, kind of all Christmas long for sure. So I'm gonna give that a shout. And then of course you can't get into Christmas season without these big like a cappella groups that came out from nowhere. In particular, Straight No Chaser is one that we listen to a lot here around these parts, and kind of their Christmas albums are really good as well. Now, I want to talk a little bit here about the patrons and the things that they have suggested to us, Michaela. And the first one actually is on our list because your husband, and I guess you guys have similar tastes, but Anthony has sent in and said that his favorites is also that Little Drummer Boy, Peace on Earth mashup there by Bing and David Bowie. Do you have any other thoughts about that one?
Other than the fact that I totally didn't even know that that's what he put on, because I'm really bad at looking at our Patreon Discord page. Sorry. No, I had no idea. I had no idea. I mean, he's got good taste. He did marry me. That's true.
That's true. That's true. And we do have a couple here from our patron Cassia as well. Of course, my Discord app just decided to shut down. If you want to make sure you get into our Patreon members only section of the Discord, you want to check out Patreon. We've got the bonus episodes and all that stuff. It's coming there. You can go to patreon.com/drinkthemovies. That's where you get the bonus content, all that stuff, and you get to submit your your songs for our playlist, just like Anthony did and just like Cassia did. Let's see. She has said that she wants to put on our list Frozen's Let It Go and Into the Unknown. Everyone's familiar with Let It Go. I don't know Into the Unknown that much because, Michaela, I've never seen Frozen.
Oh, well, that's from Frozen 2. And it's good. It's similar
Also
in that
never seen Frozen 2. Also never seen
right.
Frozen 2.
Right. It's Idina Menzel. It's very much of a kind of a belter, the way that Dina can sing beautifully, only her voice can do. To me, it's not as good as Let It Go. They do kind of bring these really kind of icy cold kind of motifs in, so if that's what you're going for at this time of year, definitely do that. One thing I thought that was amazing that I had not seen or listened to before Cassia mentioned it was Harry Potter's Hedwig theme, or Hedwig's theme. So Harry Potter happens at Christmas. It doesn't happen at Christmas. It's come out, the first couple of Harry Potter movies came out at Christmas, and they feel kind of Christmassy, even though
they mostly bridge the holiday. Usually the Christmas holiday is usually kind of a part in those films, at least a couple of them. For
sure. And so this was really cool because it's really beautiful. I have not spent a lot of time listening to all of the score for all the Harry Potters. I mean, there's like 10 movies now or 9 movies or something. So definitely worth your time. But that one for sure is something to check out because it definitely has like a Christmassy feel to it, if that's such a thing. It's really cool. Check it out. Really, really good.
Yeah, pretty much the whole Harry Potter soundtrack would be good for Christmas tunes, especially if you just wanted something instrumental. How could you go wrong with the wizarding world of Harry Potter and the musical world of John Williams there for sure. Let's see. We've also got the inclusion of Hallelujah. Cassia put the McKenna Breinholt cinematic pop version. That's the was it Leonard Cohen? Is that who did the original version of that? I believe that's a really good song. It's a lot of people do include that on their Christmas playlist. It's not specifically like a Christmas song, I think, but I think that it fits in there well. And then the Cascade Christmas album, that's Cascade with 2 Ks instead of 2 Cs. I'm not familiar with Cascade at all. Michaela, have you ever heard of Cascade here?
I don't think I have. Let's see. Oh, he's the DJ. Yes, I actually have. And but I've not heard this album, so now I have to go check it out. Sorry, Cassia. We'll come back and we'll let you know what we think.
That's right. Yeah, we'll check out Cascade. And then one final here, honorable mention is the Favorite Things song by Julie Andrews and The Sound of Music, another film we've covered here on the podcast. That, of course, is on a lot of Christmas lists as well. Really good song. Can't go wrong with Sound of Music for sure. And that's going to be a good inclusion on a playlist for sure. So, Michaela, that was our second playlist. We did a Halloween one, and now we've done a Christmas trim in the tree one. Are you in the mood now to have some eggnog and get busy with your 8 hours of decorating?
Yes. Let me be clear. My house becomes a complete elf festivus thing. It's insane, all the work that I do to make Christmas as magical as I can for my kiddo. So it's going to be more like 16 to 20 hours of work, I think. So I'm definitely going to, we should continue. If you're a Patreon, please send us more songs. If you're not on our Patreon, you should be on our Patreon. Send us more songs. If you're a listener of Drink the Music, send us more songs, because I'm going to be decorating almost up until probably Christmas Eve, because that's just the kind of Christmas elf person that I am. And I'm going to need a lot. I'm going to need a lot of music to get me through that, and a lot of eggnog.
That's right. Unless you have your own personal Buddy the Elf that can do it all in one night, you're just gonna have to keep decorating all year round. And that's what we do at Christmas time. Really, is you keep seeing things that catch your eye, and you just keep adding to Christmas until it's time to put it away. And then you say, "Never again, self. Not doing this again." And then the next year, it's the same. You put on this playlist and you get to trim in the tree. So I think that's going to wrap it up here for our playlist, Michaela. We have a lot of work to do in terms of decorating, checking light bulbs, all that sort of stuff. So let's do that. Let's mix up our eggnog and we'll take a break for now. So let us know at home what your favorite kind of holiday cocktails are, what your favorite holiday drinks or foods. If you have anything awesome, like for a party spread, let us know that. Always good to get recipes too, I suppose. And let us know what your favorites Christmas and holiday songs songs are this time of year. Let us know what your least favorite ones are too, because that's always fun to hear as well. So let us know all that stuff. You can do it on our social medias. It's at To Drink the Movies on Instagram and X and Threads and Blue Sky and Facebook.com/drinkthemovies. You can go to our website, www.drinkthemovies.com. We'll have a link to our playlist here, hopefully, and links to the episodes, link to the cocktails, drink the video games, all that stuff. You can find that on our website. And make sure you check out our Patreon. It's patreon.com/drinkthemovies. That's where you can go and submit your songs to get featured in the playlist. That's where you can vote in polls we have about albums coming up. That's where you get bonus content, all that stuff. It's a really great way to support the podcast, and we are so thankful for the patrons over there. Michaela, we're also thankful for people that take the time out of their day to listen to the podcast, to subscribe, and to leave us reviews. Where can they do that?
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, iHeartRadio, anywhere where Spotify podcasts are supported and distributed. Whatever you're listening to on right now, there is a like button, there's a subscribe button. You should press both of those. And if you really like what you're hearing, you should share this with your friends. You should share us on all our social media platforms. It really helps us get all the Drink the Music, Drink the Movies out there.
Absolutely. So I think we're going to go ahead and get that eggnog going and see what we come up with Christmas decoration wise. So thank you so much for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed this extra special episode, and we'll talk to everyone next time on
Drink the Music.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
Merry Christmas.